Oh my goodness, it looks like we have a brand new person across the line first tonight. V-Rodder in the house first, followed right behind by Tiger Ward. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Sunday. Time for another episode of America's first and favorite two-wheel motorcycle talk and entertainment show, Shop Talk. Man, we got a great show lined up for you tonight. Cannot wait to get into this one. A brand new, we announced this when it first was coming out. Now we're counting down the calendar pages till the launch of a brand new cross-country vintage motorcycle race, the Trans Am. Get ready for it. We have that main man, Tom Banks, in the house tonight. We're going to talk about that. And then right around the corner, for all of you chopper-loving crazies and antique motorcycle nuts, the Texas Fandango is coming up, and we got one of the head guys over there, Mr. Steve Klein, coming in the second part of the show. All of that and everything else that you expect in the middle. Shop Talk is getting ready to go live. Get something cold to drink, kick back, relax, get ready for 90 to 120 minutes of all the bullshit we can fit in Shop Talk. Okay, who's making the comment about fat shaming? Who's fat shaming? I'm a little sensitive right now. I picked up a couple pounds over the winter. You might have noticed. I started riding my bicycle again, and I feel like someone kicked my ass. I'm not going to lie. I wish I could say it's so awesome and it's giving me all this energy. I want to die every time I pedal this stupid thing. But, got to get something. Look, there's two things to do in South Dakota during the winter. And you could do them both at the same time. Eat chili and watch TV. Hey, Steve Reed's in the house tonight. Ugly Panhead Greg. Gary, what's up, buddy? Steve Broyles in from D-Town. Scooter is here. Brian Hess. Becky is in the house as always. Good to see all you guys here. Dan Gafford. Hey, man, listen, if you're watching, don't just be another effing observer. You can get involved wherever you're watching from, any of the 15 channels we broadcast Shop Talk. Wherever you're watching them from, put a comment in. Let us know where you're watching from. We give you a little shout out. We get a kick out of it like David Crum. He's watching in Butler, New Jersey. Oh shit, bicycle, don't be a hammer. No, I'm not going to be a hammer because Hammer's really in fantastic shape. Come to talk about it, but Kieran says eat more pork roll. That's how I got here, Kieran, was too much pork roll. Annie is in the house. What's up, Annie? The queen of motorcycles on the West Coast, Miss Lisa Ballard, in the house. Good to see you here. Oh, we're counting down the minutes. We got 1 minute, 16 seconds left until we go live with this one. That's just enough time for you to hit the like and share button. Make sure that you're passing this along to everyone. Help it spread like a virus. Jason Hallman in the house. What's up, buddy? Penny Melissa watching from Rockford, Illinois. See? Karen, don't eat the bread, though. That's what's up, man. Cabana Dan is here. Right on. Gary's watching from Flagler Beach, a place we're very familiar from. Wayne Budd, Floral City, Florida. David Crump, Taylor Ham. Don't start that. All right, man, we're down to 30 seconds. That's probably enough time to let you guys know we're going to pull this one out of the station, get it up on the tracks. Let's go live with tonight's episode of Shop Talk. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It is just after 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm your host, Chris Callen, here in the Dennis Kirk Studios, high atop Television Hill in the Clockworks campus in Mitchell, South Dakota, where it's not 9 o'clock yet, but you know where it is 9 o'clock, is over in Pittsburgh, where my boy and crew member comes in, Mr. Mark Persichetti. What's up, buddy?
It's almost bedtime.
Oh, and Heather. And Heather too.
Seriously,
Are we going to do this?
Oh
again?
boy, can't.
No, he's got me muted.
No, I don't. I even worked on the damn microphone.
You know what the worst
tonight.
part is before the show it worked fine, and then he hit go and it went
Click. I'm going to cut that mic cord in half. I swear to God.
No, you had me
I'm
muted.
thinking electric
forgot me.
bicycle. That's what you need.
Oh, dude.
What's the point? That's totally not the point.
Listen, there's
Then
nothing.
you wouldn't be all worn out.
There's
Boys
no-
all worn out here.
There's nothing worse than being a fat biker coming out of winter and realizing you have to go back to the gym and pedal the bicycle. Like
It was great though. Yesterday you rode the bicycle to the gym.
I did.
It was awesome.
And then I wanted to die.
Oh, you
I don't
did.
know who was worse because we did that. We took both the dogs to the dog park, a great dog park out here. And Mr. Smalls decided he was going to race this other dog on the side of the
He
fence.
is so your spirit animal.
He did like 2 laps, and we had to carry him back to the truck. So by the end of the night, from me biking and swimming, and the dog racing the other dog, we're both laid out like gonna
I didn't
die.
know who was whining, moaning, and groaning more, him or Mr. Smalls. It was, like they are
was
each
awesome.
other's spirit animal. 100%.
There's a wheelbarrow in the driveway so Heather can get them both into the house.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding.
So many people to say hi to. Sharon Olaf, so we know it's Gordon and Sharon checking in. John Clark, Greg White is here with us. Bob Duhamel, Wenton Walker, Jackson, Mississippi. So good. XAM Biker in the house with us. Bagger Bader.
I couldn't keep up. Like
Right?
Wayne Bud's here. Like it's crazy.
Packed house
and
tonight.
the fat shaming comment came from behind Rudy's Fairing. I asked him what's shaking, and he said, "Are you fat shaming me?"
See, that's what happens. Listen, just because we're big doesn't mean we're not sensitive.
Hey,
Take it easy.
have you ever been asked, "Hey, baby, you got fries with that shake?"
Well,
Well,
bet he
I
has
have.
once or twice in his life. Well, that's a good thing for you, though.
No, it is not.
It is.
It
No.
most certainly is.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Trent.
that's a little bit of that.
Trent's in the house. Hey, Trent.
Trent's here, right on. So yeah, man, it's been hectic. So we are coming out of the winter.
Flat and fluffy.
It's painful, but at the same time, it's exciting. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity yet to check out everything that we did from Daytona. If not, little shameless plug over at Cycle Source TV.
All right, wait a minute. I got to talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
So, dude, we were trying to do a paid promo for that video for Daytona, and we got denied because it contained quote unquote shocking content. There's no nudity.
Dude.
There's no cussing. There's no rape.
It is the
murder.
most
There's
vanilla
nothing.
video we've
It's
ever
like-
done.
It's like me. I'm at the legendary Broken Spoke Saloon. Oh, look, there's a motorcycle. Oh, look, that's like literally shocking content.
So yeah, Google wouldn't take my money because basically we showed what we do at motorcycle rallies, and we didn't even show like
We
any
didn't
of
even
the.
show the hot bartenders for crepe's sake.
Dan Gafford loved the Daytona
thank
videos.
you, Dan.
Right on.
Google,
You know,
you're stupid.
my best, my favorite part of this video, and it'll come back around here in a second, but I forget where we were going, but I was riding with Johnny 99, and he was on this great old bike that him and Warren have cobbled together, and we were heading across a bridge over to the, from the inlet side to the beach side. And just something about him on that bike going across that bridge at the time of day that it was priceless. That's the shot right there.
Yeah, you like that video.
Yeah.
I know you do. You like, yeah, that's your thing.
So good.
Daytona was good. I would do it. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
So
do it again.
the meaning of that was Cycle Source TV. We're only home from Daytona about a week. We already have that video up. There's a bunch of other stuff. Our guy Nate was out at Chopper Fest. He got a killer video from Chopper Fest. The whole coverage is up for that. You want to check that out if you get an opportunity. It's just
And you'll notice that he said Cycle Source TV. The rebrand is complete.
Yes, it
to pay
is.
homage to the 28-year history of Cycle Source and
So yeah,
all
we've
things
done it.
motorcycle. Oh.
Oh, right
What
on,
about
Chris,
his
your
panhead?
panhead. So listen, the good news, it sounds like we're going to have 5 of the 6 S&S motorcycles at Smokeout.
Well, how
so,
do we get number 6?
I don't know. We have to make a deal with Chip and Mikey to get it all the way from California, but
Oh, boy.
Let's work on that. It'd be nice to have the S&S
That'll cost
6.
somebody.
5 of the 6.
Mark, you can do a road
pretty
trip
good.
and deliver it.
I'm not doing anything.
Speaking
Try
of
it
not,
out
week.
there.
speaking of not doing anything, what the hell are you doing? What do you got going on over
No.
there with the Impala?
Oh wow, that's a whole different story. I'm doing a lot of going to the refrigerator, just saying. So, because I enjoy that. I like ice cream. I hate to break the news there.
Be careful. Be
no,
careful. You're going to end up
I'm
on a
ready for the
bicycle.
sandblaster.
What's your favorite flavor?
I don't need. Oh, you shut up! I can't pick a favorite.
Oh, but there's always got to be one that you like.
Graham Central Station.
What is that?
That's what happens when you eat too
it's,
much ice cream.
Yeah, it's like vanilla ice cream and graham cracker and like almost like a graham cracker butter crust. It's really good.
Is it Ben and
Don't
Jerry's?
try it.
Don't try
Yeah,
it. It's
right.
like crack,
No, it's
right?
a Hershey. Yeah, do not try it.
Oh.
It's a Hershey's ice cream called Graham Central Station.
We're only allowed to
Smoke
eat
a little of
healthy.
the weed, eat some
Weed.
Grand Central Station.
Yeah, we're
I'm
only
in.
allowed to eat healthy choice fudge bars. They're 90 calories a piece. That is the
Shut
extent
up.
of our ice cream intake.
So speaking
Winners
of
never win YouTube.
speaking of the S&S bikes, next stop for them is the Donnie Smith show next weekend, actually.
Yes.
So we're all going to be in Minnesota for the Winter Nationals, Donnie Smith show. Everything cool up there, and you'll get to see, if you're in town, you'll get to see all the S&S bikes. All the builders are going to be there, it sounds like, or most of them. Really good time. Definitely check it out. A lot of our videos this week are highlights from last year. You'll see, and after that, it looks like we're hauling ass to Arizona.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rocky Road
nice
at
and
Dark
warm there.
Cemetery. I seen one photo of me in Daytona. I ordered Trizepatide. I don't know what that is, but
That's one of those pills that helps you
Wegovy.
Wegovy or
oh.
yeah. I felt the same
I
way last
remember
week
that.
when I was watching the product thing that we did with Paco. I was putting the video together and I was like, I have got to get back on the bicycle.
Anybody? Oh, caramel ice cream. Stop talking about ice cream, y'all. No, but for me, I actually keep a picture of me on my phone at all times to remind myself what I never want to look like again. It works. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, put that cookie down.
I thought you were going to say it's when you tried that Dorothy Hamill haircut, because that's
No, that was actually, that was poodle and fat all at once. That was pretty bad. That was the worst part. I looked older then than I do now.
okay. So wait,
I
Greg.
tried one of those once.
Greg White says mint cookie crumble from Stewart's in New York. Becky says butter pecan. Tiger Ward, don't know about losing anyway, but I'm thinking about going on vitamins.
Oh, but this leads me to, I just secured us a homemade ice cream purveyor for Smokeout.
Didn't we just say I'm
just
trying to
saying.
lose weight,
That's
dude?
Smokeout. That's like 6 months from now.
Oh.
Lose the weight now so you can indulge then.
All right, man, listen. So if this is your first time watching ShopTalk, where the hell you been? We do this every Sunday at 9 p.m. on the East Coast. We go live on Facebook, YouTube, 15 different channels, but you can set your alerts so you don't ever miss anything. And if you don't know what is ShopTalk, it's news, it's information, it's entertainment. We have a guest or two on, and we start the whole thing off with a little segment we call...
Done news.
First up in the news tonight, and this is kind of sad news, man, coming in from Dealer News. Willow Springs it sounds like it's going away. There's a copy of the notice to vacate. Word leaked the fastest road in the West, aka Willow Springs Raceway, was sold back in February to a Boston-based private equity firm, stating that it specializes in property turnarounds for commercial real estate. It goes on to say that we can confirm that the deal is pending. The team is excited to preserve the legacy and enthusiast access to one of America's most iconic race facilities, while also setting the property up for growth and success in the future. But apparently, as the article continues, all bets are off as the Drive, Road Racing World, and others have reported that longtime tenants are being evicted. Tenants of the 600-acre facility have until March 29th to vacate the premise, according to notifications circulating on multiple social media channels. Now,
Yeah.
I read
Kinda
that whole
mixed
thing.
messages.
They've been open?
What's that?
Did it say how long they've been open? Did it
I
say
don't
what
know,
the-
dude. That's like forever and a day, though, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
But
That sucks.
well, it sounds like it sounds like maybe it's only temporary,
Here you
and
go.
they're gonna.
The track had been operated for 62 years by Bill Huth and his family. When Huth passed away in 2015, his family continued running the track in its historic bare bones manner. It's, you know, Heather's putting the article up, and it's actually really sad. Like even Don Enby talks about coming on, and you know how that was where he really learned to race. You know, like that it has that much history.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, super sad.
But like Heather was saying, there's no, it's not completely definitive. They may just be hitting the reset button with all the tenants, you know what I mean, and saying, okay,
Yeah.
everybody get out for now. We're going to reorganize and schedule everybody else back in, but who knows for now.
Hopefully.
Sad time. Also coming in from dealer news. The next piece, production resumes at KTM. Look at that.
Oh boy.
So
They're back.
embattled Austrian OEM KTM AG reported the production lines were rolling again on the first day of spring, March 20th, after 3 challenging months. The moment has finally come. Production at KTM is resumed, and the first bikes rolled off the production line today. Plans call for full capacity of the 4 production lines in single shift operation to be achieved within 3 months. Now, they still have some pretty big hurdles to overcome that you can continue to read this article on your own if you want, but it sounds like they have a couple milestones that they have to achieve financially, but the good news there is that they are running again. We haven't lost one of the main manufacturers in the sport.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
That's what you have.
That's it. That's our news.
Definitely don't want to lose
No,
that.
it's
like,
not
that's
the
it?
news.
Wait a
In
minute.
from our own Cycle Source magazine news report.
Oh, Irma Gerd.
Full Throttle Sturgis to showcase Michael Lichter's iconic motorcycle photography during the 85th Rally. Sturgis, South Dakota, March 17th. Full Throttle Sturgis has announced an exciting highlight for upcoming 85th annual Poppy Hoyle Motorcycle Rally. Attendees will experience an exclusive art exhibition featuring the renowned work of Michael Lichter, the world's foremost motorcycle photographer. This special showcase will be hosted at the state-of-the-art Full Throttle Expo Center Gallery during the rally from August 1st through the 9th, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. Now, the great thing about this is also the year that Michael is receiving his Lifetime Achievement Award. What a better way to celebrate his life creating this art in our world with a gallery exhibition. So good for them.
I think that's awesome. I love Michael and his photography, so good on him.
And you know, the great thing about Michael was every year when he would do his gallery at the old place, he would only put a limited amount of his stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he made it about everything that everyone else was doing.
Yep.
And to see an entire gallery exhibition that's just about his work,
We'll definitely be going
is-
over there.
it's pretty badass.
He just has this way of capturing everybody's most significant moments in their motorcycle life, and that's one of the things I love about him. And yes, I did steal your line, Chris.
Oh boy, here we go.
Sorry.
Survey says. Next up in the news from Power Sports Business, Triumph to launch new Enduro model March 25th. Haven't we been talking about this though? We've been waiting for this
But
and
it's
waiting
coming.
waiting.
It's finally here.
Yeah.
No, what's it look like?
I'm not good at waiting,
No, really.
and I don't see a damn picture. So unless we watch this
That's
video,
what? Now we have to watch a video too?
yeah. You know, Mark,
That's
it's a new world out there, buddy.
Sorry.
I'm heading back to the fridge.
So it makes sense that one of the earliest known motorcycle race manufacturers, which was Triumph, moves into this market with something enduro like this because their bikes were always like, there was a time where Harley Davidson was chasing after motorcycles like Norton, like Triumph, like BSAs because they had the bikes that were in this space. It's good to see Triumph back in that. And I still don't see a picture of the damn motorcycle.
I was gonna say, it'd be good to see the bike.
Right?
Awesome. Ooh, what do you got there?
There's pieces of it.
There's
All right.
pieces.
There's two
pieces
Now
of
they're
it.
just teasing us.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to go to a Triumph dealer and check it out.
I don't like girls like that.
No, me neither. Throw it
We've
out.
got a ton of shout-outs to do. And I have
Okay,
a
Heather.
question to ask.
Well, go ahead.
Monkey, I want to know what the hair emergency was.
Monkey
Like,
had a
full-
hair
with-
emergency?
Like my wife went full simple Jack. I'm not sure what that is. Hair emergency.
Simple Jack.
Oh, Scooter is here. Scooter says make sure we save the day for cosettas. So we should start fasting now, basically.
Oh, but
Scooter, right on, man.
Milt Wheeler's in the house. He is one of our Thankful artists this year. Callie Chavez, all the way from Costa Rica, who tunes in every week, is here again. Thank you so much, Callie. I appreciate you. Nussbaum is in the house.
Nussbaum.
Mr. Nussbaum,
Tonight
our,
on
okay.
Flannel
our,
Talk.
our unofficial associate producer. He's still our associate producer. I can
Poppy's
say that.
here. Hi, Poppy. Matt Stork is in the house.
Well, right on.
It was a bang
bangs
issue.
I think
Well-
he's talking about hair. Monkey,
don't
do you
know.
actually have hair?
I don't know because he said Jack Simple also. So
Jack Simple.
it could have been the other kind of bang. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right
Oh
then.
boy. Here we go.
Ugly Panhead Greg. My first bike was a Harley Enduro. It got him started. That does not suck.
Judy is here. Miss Judy.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
So we got a great show coming up for you guys. We're actually going to take a break real quick right now and look at a killer feature bike that we found in Sturgis. When we come back on the other side, we have Mr. Tom Banks waiting in the wings, and we're going to talk to him about the upcoming event that he has. But until then, you're watching Shop Talk here in the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. After this feature bike. This one here.
The one that's
Right-
coming?
right
This
here.
one right now.
Right there.
Right now?
Out of Focus is brought to you by Garage Build. Submit your build, share your passion. Powered by Dennis Kirk.
I'm Bones. I'm from Yuma, Arizona. It's a combination of a lot of spare parts I had. It's kind of unique. You don't see many making this shovester work. There's a lot to make it work. I had some help. Ron Dickey. Trock's the one that got me interested in the shovester years ago. But he was doing ductile cylinders. Ron Dickey's buying Durabar, ductile iron, in logs. Little waste. The smallest bore log he buys is 3.5 inch. These cylinders are Axtell, and they started out as a 3.5 inch cylinder. Nothing fancy with the motor. Sportster 410 grind, belt drive, starts every time. Started with a Sportster case that had a set of cylinder heads and cam chest in it. But the transmission had been blowed out of the back part of the case. So what I did was I sawed that transmission compartment off the back side of that crankcase compartment. Sawed it off. I had some help with getting the belt drive set up. That's a big twin belt drive setup coming off that Sportster shaft, sprocket shaft. Truett and Osborne balanced crankshaft. I do a lot of work with them. Casey at Truett and Osborne. There've been a lot of people taking the Sportster frame when they're back half in them Sportsters and putting a hardtail weld on the Sportster frame. Well, that keeps their original paperwork if it's a 70 and later. But I went with this Paco frame, big twin 4-speed, 1974 shift pattern. One up and the rest down. That was the only year for that, 1974. Super Glide. When they come out with that 74 Super Glide, they didn't change the shift pattern from the big twin. So then they had to change it to one down, toe up with the 75 model Super Glide. My name is Bones. I'm from Yuma, Arizona, and I'm a Dennis Kirk garage builder.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
I'm Brian Clock from Clockworks in Mitchell, South Dakota, and you're watching Shop Talk.
Oh, nice. Paul Yaffe product, huh?
Yeah, man, so excited.
Got a new build?
I do. It's aren't you Paul Yaffe?
No, I've never met the guy. But I do know you can get all of his products at DennisKirk.com.
There you go.
Is this me? Awesome. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Listen to Not Paul Yaffe. Get all your Bagger Nation products right now at DennisKirk.com.
Okay, welcome back to the Dennis Kirk studio. You're watching Shop Talk and Bones, huh?
Did you give him a word count or something? That's all I could think. Like, you gave him a word count.
The only thing I could think was, he was waiting to catch a 310 to Yuma, and I wasn't going to push him.
Dude.
Yeah, no, don't rush the guy.
Otherwise, he pulls out a gun, and all of a sudden, I'm in a gunfight at the Broken Spoke, and
Oh, goodness gracious.
You'll take her out.
So, hey, man.
Again.
Listen, you guys know that we are big fans of the vintage motorcycle scene, and especially cross-country racing them. There's nothing like it. We've been on several of these things with other people and followed other people through it. We've been through some stuff ourselves, but what was it, the end of last year we started talking about
I think so, yeah.
the motorcycle Trans Am, and this thing is really starting to get legs and heat up. It's picking up riders, so we thought this was the appropriate time to bring Mr. Tom Banks in and talk about the motorcycle Trans Am. Tom, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, what's happening?
Dude, Trans Am is happening. This is it. You're on the downhill now. People are ripping off the calendar pages with a big circle on September.
Well, we're like 5 months out right now, so we're definitely starting to gain some speed. I think people understand now that it's really going to happen, and we are going forward, and we're excited, man. It's going to be an awesome event.
Now this is so good. So if you don't know about the motorcycle Trans Am, let's start out with telling everybody about this 4,000 mile race.
We're at about 4,000 miles. We're going to start at the Outer Banks at Jeanette Pier on the East Coast, and we're going to go all the way to the coast in Oregon. We'd like to start by getting a little wee bottle of water on the East Coast, and we'd like to be able to dump that water out there in the Pacific on the West Coast.
That's awesome.
We are finished at a lighthouse on the West Coast. It's a beautiful spot. It's about 4,000 miles. We have some of the major museums are, in the trip, and we're just basically going to ride all day. So it'll be a good time.
Yeah, I was looking. They're stopping at Wheels Through Time, Twisted Oz Museum, Legends Museum.
Yeah.
You've got some killer stops lined up.
No, we really do. We have some awesome stops. On a personal level, I've never been to the legends. So I'm like super excited to be, to go out to Legends and check it out. I know he has some of the most incredible bikes in the room, especially the American bikes, which is, my main. So super excited. But even Matt's, I was just at Matt's last week, but that's the place where I caught the fever at Wheels Through Time. So, I'm excited to go back there, the Oz. It's just an awesome time.
Well, listen, for anybody that's not hip to this, that's never followed along with events like the Chase and the Motorcycle Cannonball, the race part of it, like when you're talking about these motorcycles, especially for Motorcycle Trans Am, you guys have set down 1930 and earlier. So motorcycles made all the way up till 1930. That's all that can participate in this. When you're talking about motorcycles like that, the race is only 20% of everything that's going to go on, the actual riding on the road and the race, right?
Well, it's actually 1925.
Oh.
It's 100-year-old motorcycles, and that's it, So it's actually 1925 is the newest bike that you can have. Any brand, of course, but 1925. So everybody will want a 100-year-old motorcycle, and I think that's what really makes it, exciting. Anybody can ride a panhead across, and I shouldn't say anybody can ride a panhead or a knucklehead. Obviously there's achievement anytime you ride an old bike across, but you're really going to have a achievement if you can get your 100-year-old bike.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because you've done so much of this. You've been a competitor, and you've been a competitor on what year was your single? Because that had to be one of the hardest ways to do this competition.
The 1912, which is actually behind me here, belt drive single. I raced that in the Cannonball. Anytime that you're on a single with single speed, completely different. You have to plan every single move. If you have a stop sign coming and you got to pull through that stop sign, you have to think about that, because you have to somehow get so different than riding anything else. So a single is always the most difficult challenge. And obviously there'll be some singles, in the Trans-American, and we're excited to see that.
So, Tom, you did mention the Motorcycle Cannonball, which most of us are familiar with and have been a part of in some way, shape, or form. And I know a lot of people, when you announced the Trans Am, were a little confused. Was this the Cannonball? Is it something new? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
So as you guys know, I own Competition Distributing. Any of those type events, whether it been the Cannonball, the Chase, or my own event, it supports what we do. Museum bikes, they're great, and we love to sell parts to museum bikes, but they don't break, so these race bikes do. The thing that we saw was the Cannonball was dying, the Chase was dying. And I think right now it kind of bears it out, because the Chase was supposed to be in July of this year, and we haven't seen so much of the sign-up sheet. We're here almost. So I think in our case, a lot of folks have been kind of on the fence, because they're not sure what's going on. And obviously we're not part of the Cannonball. We have our own Americans, a total new event. Obviously it's a little bit like the Cannonball in that it's, East Coast to West Coast trip, but other than that, there's not much, that's the same. There'll be a lot of difference. But I honestly don't feel that the Cannonball was coming back, and I honestly don't feel that the Chase was coming back. And we really felt that there was a void in our community, and therefore we came out with the race. And that's kind of pretty much where it stands right now. We are certainly going forward with the race, whether it's 50 riders or 75 riders, we're definitely going forward.
Well, kudos to you, because you are definitely, this event is not coming from a place of a money grab. This is not an inexpensive event to put on, but just the fact that you are so aware of the need in the antique and vintage motorcycle community for something like this, because it's not necessarily about the win, it's about what happens on the road, what happens in the parking lots at the end of the night, and the memories and relationships made. And I think you understand that better than most, because you have been such a big part of it before.
Guys, all the people that I've met in the international antique motorcycle road, I mean America, and even worldwide, I met them through these type of events, and some of them have become lifelong friends. Some of them are super close to us now. Some of them are in this event we have coming up, the Trans-American. So, obviously you get to meet like-minded people, and there's only so many of us out there that are crazy enough to ride a 100-year-old motorcycle across America.
Well, and that's what I want to. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
I was just going to say how cool it is because the nostalgia of this race and that style of motorcycle, what Tom and a few people have done to keep that alive is remarkable. This is not an easy task. You know, these people that do these rides, they like dedicate their, you know, a good time to it to make this happen. And, you know, thanks to Tom and his crew, they're keeping this going. They're keeping these old bikes not only running but alive in the world, and that's awesome.
Well, and I'm going to back you up on that, dude, because a lot of you, if you don't know, the kind of support that Tom always gave these races, you know, with his own motorcycles, taking a team to these races. He went to Sons of Speed. Like one time I dared him to come to Sons of Speed, and ever since then he's been a huge part of Sons of Speed. And for him, it really is about that, you know, keeping old motorcycles alive, and more than just putting something on the shelf. Like when you go to Sons of Speed, you will immediately get addicted with the thrill of watching old motorcycles, 100-year-old motorcycles racing around a track. When you see them out in a race like this, it's a whole other level of that. And that's the kind of dedication that it takes to put this thing on, and that this man right here has.
Hey guys, you know, obviously Sean and myself have talked about this event for quite some time now. We wouldn't be able to do it without Kelsey. Kelsey is our driving force. She is the CEO of the event. She's the one that's reaching out to every single town that we're going into. Listen, there'll be towns that we go into, they'll have a marching band. When we go into a town, they'll be set up with to feed us. You know, all the riders will be fed at night. The riders will be fed in the morning. You know, we're going to have a banquet at the beginning. We're going to have a banquet at the end. We're going to go to the Blue. It's going to be a killer run, guys. I just can't tell you how excited I am, how much I'm looking forward to the ride.
So for people who have signed up and may not have done this before, or people who are considering signing up, what are some of the biggest challenges that you encountered or that you've seen people encounter?
No, it's just to try to be on the starting line in the morning. Because if you get on the starting line and you can take off, you know, even if you break down, you're going to wind up on the sweep truck and you're going to get yourself to the next town. You know, I had my own challenges when I tried to ride the 12 in the Cannonball. You know, it gave me quite a beating, you know, and I did ride across the line, and, you know, that was quite a feat, but, you know, I didn't complete the miles like I'd have liked to, you know. But I just think that challenge every day of having your bike on the line and working into the wee hours at night, you know, trying to make sure that your bike's ready to go for the next morning, that in itself is the real challenge.
Now, will people be able to have teams with them that help them work on the bikes at night, or is it one of those more similar to the Chase where they have to carry everything they need on their bike?
No, we'll have teams in the pits at night. You know, during the day, other riders can help you on the course, you know, but at night you'll have your full-blown teams in the pits, you know, where we'll have everybody all in racing, you know, and that's what you see a lot of guys that will maybe racing against one another, but would be helping each other in the pits.
Yeah, buddy. Like I said, we were fortunate enough to be at some of these along with some of them, and there is no event like this. And you know, Tom, you touched on something for a minute, and I want to talk about that, is having the awareness of what a hole that this was going to leave behind, because I can remember a time before the whole motorcycle Cannonball came around. And I remember when it first started getting announced, and there was a lot of skepticism, and like people really didn't understand it until those images started to filter in from that first event, from the second event, and like it became such a staple to the antique community, because I feel like up until that point, it was really like, you know, these out of the way AMCA meets like Davenport and Ole, and you'd go and see the old bikes and stuff, and of course you'd see guys riding around the fairgrounds, and there was even a little bit of racing there, but nothing like real world, like one of these events. So when it got to the point that, you know, the Cannonball and the Chase were stumbling and people didn't really know what was going to go on with it, you could really pick up on the disparagement of the whole community. You know, it's more than just it's more than just an oddity or a novelty that you're bringing back around. It's a movement that was on the verge of going away.
Here's the thing, Sean and I run competition distributing. At one time, the Cannonball was competition distributing. The last thing we wanted to do was to see that event die. Again, I hope next year the Cannonball comes back out, but I don't believe that that's going to be the case. I can assure you that come September, we are going to be out there and we are going to be crossed. And I really feel confident that we have the ability to grow this event and for this event to be everything that it can be. And that's going to, that's to really give the riders their best experience. I think that's what it really comes down to. And we also have Kelsey working with the communities where we come into, and we're just going to have a lot of fun with the communities because we're going to have a lot of support.
Yeah, that's a really big thing, man, because, it's another thing that I saw firsthand. When the riders get to the end of a day like this, there's so much frustration because you're dealing with 100-year-old machinery. And even when they're running at the top of their peak, it can kick your ass in a day, right? So having a little bit of relief and having some refreshment and stuff at the end of a day is a big part of this. So that's definitely got to be key.
Well, without a doubt, and we're not going to do the daytime stops. We might have maybe one daytime stop. During the day, we're going to let the riders ride because with a 100-year-old bike, you need all the time you can to get to that next stop. So we want to give everybody the opportunity to be on the track or to be on the course, be able to get their miles. And, I don't see why that can't happen for anybody that has their bike dialed in.
So now I know you're usually one of the participants, and I know this is going to be a little different for you. How do you feel about that?
Well, the same way I feel about the Sons of Speed. In a lot of ways, I really enjoy what I do with the Sons of Speed now, having my own little race team. I really love flag, but make no mistake about it, I would rather be out there racing because that's where that's my passion. If we're going to talk about the Cannonball, it's the same thing, or the Transmerican. If we're going to talk about the Transmerican, it's the same thing because, I'm not going to be out there being scored. There'll be days I'm out there riding, of course, but it is different for me, in this capacity. But at the same time, someone needs to try to take it forward, And I have a young group with me with Sean and Kelly. I have a great group of sponsors already with Legends and Sinless Cycles and the AMCA. So we're really headed in the right direction. And even though I can't ride, I'm super excited about the event. And if I can make it happen, that'll be a win for me, really. And I feel I'm going to make it happen. There's no ifs about it.
Oh, I feel like, Tom, just knowing your history and your perseverance and everything that you've overcome in your own life, if anybody can make this happen and actually grow the event and grow the sport of antique motorcycling, it's you. You have a passion for this, and you have
100%.
No problem sharing that with the world, like with anybody. Somebody wants to ride your bike, you'll be like, go ahead, try it. We'll put you on the team.
Well, hey, speaking of that, Danger Dan is riding my 1921 that I rode in the first Cannonball that I.
Oh, good Lord.
So in the Trans-American, Danger Dan, who a lot of you guys know, he's a super fun guy. We met Dan down at the Sons of Speed 3 or 4 years ago down there racing, but he's riding my 1921 JD Harley. So, I'm excited about that.
Listen, Tom, I.
So you're saying you hate that 1921 Harley? Is that what you're saying?
Most of the time that you see Dan riding something, he's got blood coming from some part of his body, and he's got a tale of how he ran it off the road between two trees.
He's almost killed me on more than one occasion. I'm just saying.
Let's take 30 seconds here. The first time we took the bike out, we was up at competition distributing. We put Dan on the bike. We went down the road. I turned around, Dan turned around. As Dan was turning around, the handlebars come right off the bike. He went right into the kid. I'm not even kidding. It was hilarious. So we picked up and stuffed the handlebars on, rode back down to competition, tied them down, and we rode the rest of the day. He is so much fun. And listen, no one crashes him and bangs him around more than myself. So
true.
Dan's perfect, man.
So I'm so excited about this. My only, I only have one complaint about the whole event because I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, we want to come on
sad that this starts the same weekend as Smokeout. Like, I was so excited when you launched this. I'm like, Chris, we're doing this.
Yep.
We're doing this. We're going to go support this. We're going to film. We're going to tell the story. And then it goes over Smokeout. I am vehemently protesting your date choice.
We might have to change Smokeout.
You know, realistically, the month of September is really about the only month you can go.
Oh, absolutely.
August is too hot, and in October you're playing with fire with the weather, you know. So it's unfortunate. You know, I miss events that I really like. Glory Days right here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I missed that event. So I have to pick and choose, and this one's best for the community, I think.
Well,
Hey, I'm almost considering rescheduling Smokeout for this, just so you know.
Yeah. Yep. We expect it to be that good for you, though. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
we
really what we're saying. Like,
no, we would.
You know, I think
we could have everybody aboard. You know, it'll always clash with some events that are going on, but you know that it's good that we have it.
hey, Mad Stork says maybe you can stop at the Smokeout.
I think you're actually riding right by Salisbury
right
because you're
past it.
stopping in Maggie Valley, so you're going to be within a few miles of us, I think. You should stop. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest parts about this, and Chris, you had brought it up before, is that the only time you see a lot of these bikes is at like an AMA or in an event, they're sitting there. And Tom's literally hitting the play button on this again and bringing these bikes to life. And people can go out and watch them come through their city, and, you know, the nostalgia, the riders, get to meet and talk to people. It's super awesome that he's keeping this rolling.
Absolutely.
Now, guys, we really have some major stars at the event, you know, including Michael Lichter himself just came in the last month. You know, we're really excited to have Michael aboard as one of our photographers, you know. We have Olivier, we have Ed Herringer, and then, you know, we got Bill Page is riding with his daughter, guys. How
I
cool
saw
is
that. That's awesome.
Nice.
The Harley Whisperer, Mr. Bill Page himself, is going to take his daughter out and ride a sidecar. Guys, it doesn't get any better than that. You know, we'll have a really great event, I'm sure of it.
Hey,
I have no doubt.
So check this out. This is exciting. George Banks gets equal billing with Billy Lane.
Nice.
You know, so we're super excited to have Billy aboard. You know, during the Sons of Speed, we've really got to know Billy. And my goodness, I just love the guy. He is a down to earth. He is a passionate motorcycle guy. We're thrilled to have Billy aboard. And George and Billy get along great. They're both gearheads. They're both mechanics. So, you know, if you'd see them in the pits of the Sons of Speed, you know, well, hey man, it's all a family there too. And we pit with Billy, so we've got to be really tight with Billy. And we're super blessed to have him in the event.
No, right on, man. Well, listen, we can't wait for the event. You know, Olivier is actually going to be covering the event for us with Cycle Source magazine, so we'll be bringing you guys pictures and everything. We're hoping to work out some kind of video stuff so we can get. I would love to have a full program about this event on Grease and Gear or on Cycle Source TV. Look at me making the same mistake by the time it's all over, but we expect big things, man. I don't think there's going to be any chance but for this thing to be off the hook.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think that there's going to be a lot of coverage when the event starts. I really feel good about that. You know, I feel like people really enjoy it. They love to see the true 100-year-old motorcycles. So, you know, we are super excited and we're super confident, you know, and it's only 5 months out, so get ready.
Oh, stop saying that because that means Smokeout's only 5 months away. Damn it.
Hey, so listen, in the meantime, you guys can get over to their YouTube page, and they have an episodic series that's going through some of the riders, and I'm sure as the event heats up more, they have their Instagram page. We'll put all of this stuff up for you so you can follow along, but plenty of media is going to come out of this, and you're not going to want to miss
Stay
it.
tuned.
Yes, sir.
But you know, Tom, anything we can do to support you and competition distributing and the Trans Am, we're down. We love
You
what
guys
you're
are
doing.
supporting us right now because, again, I just like to keep, you know, I want to keep the record clear to everybody where we stand. And where we stand, we're coming out September 4th, and we're going to go across the country and have a great time. I hope you can all jump aboard and have fun with us.
That's
We
going
still
to be
have-
awesome.
Still have a little bit of people to come aboard.
Right on, buddy. Well, listen, thanks for coming on and sharing some time with us tonight, and we'll catch up with you again real soon.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Hey, Mark, nice to see you, homie. That's my Pittsburgh homie, Mark.
Nice.
Hey, wait a minute.
You're close, brother. I'm going to have to come over and hang out with you.
I used to be a Pittsburgh homie.
You still
Hang
are
on.
a Pittsburgh homie. Don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to come over and check out your shit, Tom. It's been a minute since I've seen you, and now I'm like twisted. I'm fighting between the smokeout and the Trans Am.
Yeah.
Oh, you shut your mouth. You don't have a choice.
All right, buddy. Well, you listen. We'll catch up with you soon, Tom. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
See you,
Take care.
Tom.
All right, everybody. Hey, you are watching Shop Talk on the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. We are going to go to a quick commercial. When we come back on the other side, we have Mr. Steve Klein coming in, and we're going to talk about Texas Fandango. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Shop Talk.
I like the Fandango.
Riding takes you from A to B or just lets you escape. There's a flow to the road you share, so go with it. Eyes open, and always have the Law Tigers by your side. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, visit us at lawtigers.com. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
I'm Nick Trask, Trask Performance, and you're watching Shop Talk.
Clockworks, where innovation meets style. Clockworks specializes in high-quality windshields, fenders, phone mounts, and other parts designed to enhance your ride, with a commitment to craftsmanship and an eye for detail. Ensure your bike not only rides smoothly, but looks stunning too. Elevate your riding experience today. Shop getclock.com.
I love when Shelton says that today. Today.
Oh, I thought that was one of the Brady's.
Just something about how he says.
Oh, please fix your own microphone this time. I'm not.
What did you do to me?
It's.
Hello.
We got to just get rid of that microphone and get a whole new microphone, I guess. Hey, so listen, you're watching Shop Talk here on the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio Network, and we're going into the second part of the show. Thank you for so many of you guys. I cannot believe how many people have stuck through the entire show so far.
David Wasserman is here?
No kidding.
David,
the original
how the hell
picker.
are you?
The original picker.
Right on.
That's right.
I love it.
Can I do a shameless plug and say sharing is caring, people?
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, listen to Heather.
Sharing is caring.
Hey, so you guys are probably sick of hearing us talk about Texas Fandango and how much we love it. But once upon a time, believe it or not, in the world of the AMCA, which stands for Antique Motorcycle Club of America, it wasn't cool to pull up on a chopper.
No.
Like if you pulled up on a chopper, you were more of an outcast than if you pulled up on a brand new motorcycle.
Yep.
Well, one
They would
chapter,
shut the lights off.
one chapter of the AMCA changed that, and it was many, many moons ago. And it was the Cherokee chapter out of Texas.
And at the time, our next guest was the president of the Cherokee chapter.
And they used to do an event called the Pate Swap Meet. And it was cars and bikes and everything else. And they had a big presence there. And that thing has grown into what is probably one of the most exceptional celebrations of motorcycles, period. There's choppers, there's old bikes, there's racing. Probably one of the best celebrations of motorcycling going today, called the Texas Fandango. We have one of the key guys here tonight with us, Mr. Steve Klein. We're going to get him on right now. Mr. Klein, how you doing, sir?
Good evening.
He's wearing multiple hats tonight.
He's wearing a Banks hat. He's probably got a Cycle Source hat under there.
When you follow Tom Banks, I have a hard time wearing a broadbill hat in the state of Texas. So, Tom, if you're still watching,
Nice.
There you
I'll
go.
send you one of these. I'll send one of these to Pittsburgh, buddy.
So I'm not sure if you...
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me tonight. It's been a bit of a long day, but I'm really glad to be with you.
Yeah, you've had a string of long days, right?
Well, we live most of the time in the Texas Hill Country, about an hour north of Austin, and we also have a ranch kind of close to the Texas coastline. And I decided to go down this weekend and, spray some fence lines. And there's always work to do on an 800-acre ranch.
That's no shit.
Had a little too much physical labor. Chest got tight, so I tried all day not to have a heart attack, and I'm going to go see my cardiologist tomorrow. So.
Oh, buddy.
And yet he's here with us tonight to talk about Fandango
Yeah.
because it's just that damn good.
Yep. Great introduction to Texas Fandango. We're kind of a dichotomy. We are an Antique Motorcycle Club of America chapter, but we are a non-AMCA event. And what I mean by that is we don't follow the same thought process and the same regimen that the AMCA does with motorcycle events. The Fandango was established in 2019. This year is our 7th year calendar, but our 6th year as an event. Being a very conservative red state, we only lost 1 year to COVID, not 2 or 3 like Colorado and California. But we're held, our event is held in the Gillespie County Fair and Festival Association grounds. And it's actually the oldest fairgrounds in the state of Texas. It's located in Fredericksburg, Texas.
Yeah, now one of the coolest things, and I didn't know this until last year, but it's proximity to Luckenbach, Texas, and all the history that goes with that.
It's worth going just to go
Dude,
there.
It really is. Like we had such a good time. And Mark, I don't know if you know this or not about the whole thing about Luckenbach, but I'm gonna ask Mr. Klein to share that with everybody.
Luckenbach is where Willie and Waylon and all the boys all met. I told Heather before we took her over there the first time, just do not sit underneath a chicken. Luckenbach is population 3. It has the second oldest country dance hall in the state of Texas. Beautiful oak trees, picnic tables everywhere, and there's always live music. And it's just 6 or 7 miles from Fredericksburg. And you have to get a sticker. Everyone is someone in Luckenbach.
Nice.
It was just such a good day, such a good day. But the Fandango in and of itself, I love the fact that even though it is an AMCA, hosted by the Cherokee AMCA, that you don't actually follow the AMCA guidelines. And for me, it makes it such a well-rounded event, and because it just, everybody comes and everybody wants to be a part of it. If you like the swap meet, they have one of the best swap meets I've ever been to, hands down. But then the chopper corral and the chopper drags and mini bike races and flat track races on the infield, it's incredible everything that you've put into that. When you first invited us, your first endeavor at the Pate swap meet, did you ever think it would morph into what it is today?
We hoped it would. Let me give you a little history. Texas has always been a ranching, cattle, horse, rodeo state. It's never been a motorcycle state. But what's happened as the Texas population has grown, people have come here not only from all over America, but from all over the world. But people from all over America moved to Texas. They brought their antique motorcycles with them.
Yep.
So our chapter had an opportunity to grow and pick up all these people moving to Texas that just love these old antique motorcycles. But what really started our effort, guys, is when you live in Texas, if you want to go to an antique motorcycle event, you know, Davenport was a 1,000-mile drive. Wauseon, Ohio, 1,250-mile drive. My gosh, to go to Ole, Pennsylvania, one of the greatest events in the country, 1,600 miles. Of course, most people want to go to Daytona in the spring, but for those of us in Texas, it's a 1,000-mile drive. And that's if you live on the east side of Texas. It can be 1,600 miles if you're from West Texas. So we decided it was time to have a location more centrally located in the United States. And we did visit with Davenport. We talked to some folks about how to approach this and plan it correctly. John Parham, American Motorcycle Museum up in Iowa, rest his soul, was a big supporter of the concept that we had. And he told us to have racing from day one. So we decided it was time Texas had its own gig. And Texas Fandango was born.
Right on.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir. What? How long ago was that, man? How long ago was that first time that we came down to Pate?
Our very first year at Fandango was 2019, so I think our last year at Pate was like 17 or 18. And the Pate Swap Meet's a great
17.
event. It's held Dallas-Fort Worth at the racetrack. It's nationally known, but it's a car event.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they liked having us there, but they didn't really want to work with us very well.
Well, and I think it was kind of a blessing for you, Steve, because once you went to Gillespie County Fairgrounds, you were able to add camping out in the parking lot. And now, like over the past couple of years, even that's morphed. There's a small stage out there and you have late night entertainment and people are just throwing their own little party out in the parking lot, so to speak. And it's one of the highlights of the weekend.
The first thing we wanted to do was we wanted to try to replicate what Davenport and Wauseon did, and that was hold it at an old county fairgrounds. Because in most of America, if you lived in small towns, you went to the county fair every year. You had ice cream, you had a corn dog, you know, and they had some sort of racing. By going to Fredericksburg, Texas, and getting the oldest fairground facility in the state, we accomplished that. What was really interesting, I think they've been racing horses on that racetrack since like the 1880s, 125 or 130 years.
Yep.
Until we showed up with motorcycles. They were so thrilled with what we brought to their region, they built us our own half-mile dirt track
That's awesome.
inside the horse track.
So
you had me at ice cream.
So I'm going to throw this out there because I know not everybody, like some people's partners don't like motorcycles as much as I do or as much as Chris does. But you still have to go to, even if you don't like motorcycles, go to Fandango, leave your partner that loves motorcycles at Fandango, and then go explore Fredericksburg.
Oh, yeah.
You can go to Fredericksburg Pie Company. There's 75 wineries in town. There's distilleries and some of the best barbecue you'll have. Plus, it's bluebonnet season, which is just beautiful in hill country if you've never seen it.
Fredericksburg, if you've never been there, to our listeners, is a very Germanic, old-fashioned town. And the city has worked really hard to keep that German architecture in place. You're right with the wineries. I think the wineries now cover about 40 miles of the highway into Fredericksburg. It's like going to Napa Valley. It's just wineries on both sides of the road. There's distilleries. The shopping is incredible. Restaurants of any ethnicity or any flair that you like, including barbecue. What's really happened is we get about 8,000 attendees at Fandango, but because we have these RV resorts throughout the entire region, people show up and spend a whole week just riding these roads. I mean, some of the most incredible motorcycle. It's not the Smoky Mountains. It's not the Rockies, okay? It's the Texas Hill Country.
Yeah, buddy.
So you kind of get more in a Wild West vibe when you ride. And this time of year, all the vistas, all the road ditches are just a blanket of wildflowers. It's just gorgeous.
Okay, wait a minute. We got to go to this picture real quick because this is earlier. Heather was talking about times that Danger Dan almost killed her. They actually have a frame by frame video on their social media.
Oh, dude.
That grandstand, guys, holds over 2,000 people. And when we do these chopper dirt drags, the grandstands are packed and all the fence lines around the racetrack are packed with people. It's just a great event.
Yeah. Well, this particular, I don't know if you can see the pictures he's showing, Steve. At this particular moment, the entire grandstand went, and then when they saw I didn't die, they all clapped.
As did I.
It was great. It was great.
You mentioned the parking lot. You mentioned the vendors. You mentioned, the mini bikes. Let me go into some of these a little bit. The parking lot's incredible. We have free parking, both for RVs, tent campers, and vehicles. It's all free. Parking lot, we've got over 1,000 young people in tents, Volkswagen buses with peace signs.
Oh, yeah.
Custom Dodge vans with shag carpeting inside of them. It's really a throwback to the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And the other thing, you'll find a lot of people sleeping on a horse blanket next to their chopper when you drive through in the morning when the sun's coming up. I'm 65 years old, and it takes me back when I used to go to Sturgis when I was a teenager in my early 20s. That's kind of the vibe we have at Texas Fandango.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you guys were talking about, for a minute there, you were talking about the extracurricular nighttime activity now that's taken its own life on. And, man, I got to tell you, that is so great because what I said in the beginning of the show about how, at a typical AMCA event, that would be frowned upon. You know what I mean? Like they don't want people pulling shit like this in the middle of one of their events at nighttime. But you guys let people have their own deal go on. They got bands out there at night. The Kickstart contest, this inspired us, honest to God, to do a Kickstart contest at Smokeout because the Kickstart contest that Danger Dan does at Fandango is one of the coolest times I've ever had in motorcycling. Yep. It is so much fun. You will not be able to walk away from it until they're absolutely finished. It's the funnest. Most I've laughed. My belly hurt. My face hurt. It was a blast.
I know. It's so much so that we actually called Danger Dan and said, "Hey, Dan, can
you come to Smokeout?" And he was like, "I got another event go on, but
So now we do the Danger Dan Kickstart contest at Smokeout in his honor. And I have to go back and say this. I said all that great stuff about Fredericksburg because I looked at their website and I hear about all this stuff, but I've never left Fandango to actually see this stuff, just so you know, because once you get there, there's no reason to leave.
So
I'm just saying,
So what you're kind of saying is if we had a bullshit meter in the house.
I mean, it looks like it would be a great place for a girls' weekend. Like, I would totally go for a girls' weekend after Fandango.
Yep.
But I dig Fandango. I dig the hell out of Fandango.
So Tiger Ward is asking, were there a bunch of cops there? And if so, do they mess with bikers? what the
No.
bunch
We
of years that
have
we've
never had one incident in 6 years.
been. Yeah.
Yes, we have security because, anytime you have beer
China.
sold and you have large crowds and grandstands, you got to have security. This entire city and region wraps their arms around motorcycle people. It's just unbelievable. You're talking about choppers not really being welcome in a lot of places, Chris. The AMCA is an incredible organization. They just had their 75th anniversary, but honestly, they're rigidly inflexible. Their average age is like 66, 67 years old. And you're correct. There's kind of a history of they're not interested in certain kinds of motorcycles or certain brands or certain types of, motorcycle enthusiasts. And unfortunately, that's kind of what happens when your board of directors, are geriatrics. It's the wrong mentality. And I say that respectfully because there's Greg McFarland, who actually was president after myself, is who gave birth to Texas Fandango. Okay. But we did it inside out. The AMCA, you have to be a member to be a vendor, to be a racer, to be in the bike show. Okay. We're just the opposite. We want to be inclusive.
Well,
We want everybody to come, all age groups. If you have a good time, guess what? You'll probably want to join.
That's it.
And
listen,
that's as simple as we've kept it.
I gotta tell you something too. Like
And because we have that mentality, the event continues to grow. We have the Chopper Corral, a huge area of just choppers. Let's talk about your bike show a second. The Cycle Source Media Group has been our sponsor since day one of the Antique Motorcycle Show. It's an indoor event. It's a huge building. Thousands of people come through it every day. I think the lowest we ever had was 125 motorcycles in the show.
Yep.
And I think the most we had was like 186. Well, you go to Davenport and there'll be 40 motorcycles.
it's absolutely
We're a shine
beautiful,
and show event.
beautiful facility.
If you're proud of your bike and it's 30 years old, push it in the door and we want everybody to see it. So, thank you very much for your support over all the years as well.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And again, that's another thing that I love about the Antique Motorcycle Show at the Fandango. Even though it's the AMCA, you don't have to have a 100-point motorcycle to be in there.
No, and actually, I got something to talk
Hang
about
on a
with
second.
that.
I'm gonna have to turn this phone around, but guys, these are our trophies at the Texas Fandango.
Right on.
Okay, they're not little plastic trophies. They're handmade, miniature, all leather Texas saddles. So, we just take it to a different level, but it's just plain old Texas hospitality. If you look at, have you ever looked up the definition of Fandango, Heather?
It's to dance lively.
Fandango means a little bit foolish. That's it. So, yeah, we're a little bit foolish. We've got mini bike racing. We've got chopper dirt drags. We've got chopper bike show. We've got antique bike show. I think we're sold out. We're over 300 vendors right now. I think we may have 1 or 2 spaces left. And we just added another entire building for vendors. So, you know, what you end up with is just 4 days of jam-packed fun for $20. Where can you do that anywhere in America?
Yes, sir.
You know, our flat track racing is is the season opener for the National Flat Track Association. These boys can race. We added a youth bicycle show last year, and it was a great success, and we're hoping it's much bigger this year. When you have little kids building bicycles and bringing them to Fandango, and we give them just as much media attention, microphone time, camera time, and the same trophies as the guy that has a $200,000 four-cylinder Henderson. So we're just inclusive.
Very cool, very cool. What are the dates for this year, Steve?
Oh gosh, don't get me lying. Go to thetexasfandango.com.
So it's April
There you
4th
go.
through 6th, 2025 at
Thank
the
you.
Gillespie County Fairgrounds. And you guys are doing something little different this year. You can pre-buy your tickets. And I think that might even save you a few bucks if you pre-buy online at texasfandango.com. Or excuse
Please
me,
do not
the
ask
Texas.
me when my anniversary is.
Oh, I love it. Even Miss Jones, she gets in on it. She works in the merch booth and she kicks butt out there. It's such a good weekend. If you guys are looking for a road trip, looking for a cool place for the weekend, for your family, for yourself, and you want to see great motorcycles, Fandango would be one of my top choices, I think.
Well, and you know, if you really look at why are we successful, we've talked about it. We're inclusive. We have something for the entire family. We have something for all ages. We've got that 60s, 70s vibe with the camping and the live music and location, Fredericksburg, Texas, you know, just Central America, the last of the Wild West. And, you know, for $20, you get to do it all. Plus free parking, free RV spaces, free tent spaces. It's cool.
There, you were talking about the parking lot. If you guys are still on the fence about this, you can head over to Cycle Source TV, and we have an entire program about Fandango. It'll show you all aspects of it. There's a lot of drone stuff that we do, that we go out into the parking lot, and you know, lots of stuff to see there. But man, I'm telling you now, put this one on your list. You absolutely don't want to miss it. Steve, I appreciate you being here with us tonight, man. We're going to put up your social media channels and the links so everybody can follow along. But as always, we wish for you to have the best event. We know you will.
Well, and as always, we appreciate you for your years and years and years of constant, unwavering support. And thanks for helping us get the message out. And I'm going to put my Tom Banks Brothers hat away, and I think I'm going to go get some sleep.
Hey, Tom.
Let us know what that doctor says about tomorrow.
I sure will.
Tom said awesome whenever you had the hat on. That was his signing off. Was he gave you an awesome for the hat?
I have to give Tom a real hat though eventually.
That's
okay?
right. He needs a good summertime hat. All right, man.
Okay.
You guys,
Come
you take
get
care,
your
Steve.
Fandango on in Texas this year. If you can't make it this year, put it on your calendar for next year, because we'll flat take care of you and you'll flat have a lot of fun.
Right on.
God bless.
Thank you so much, Steve.
All
You
right,
take
Steve.
care.
Thanks, man. Hey, everybody, you're watching Shop Talk here in the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. What an incredible show.
Oh, my gosh.
Did we also mention that Steve is a competitor in the Trans Am?
How did we miss that?
Oh, my God.
Son of a biscuit-eating monkey.
So much to talk about. See
Real
what
nice.
happens. But Steve is actually competing in the Trans Am. He's been a longtime competitor in the other cross-country races as well, and a sponsor of the event. So we wish him good luck. We're hoping to have a camera installed on his motorcycle
That would be so good.
that he's going to help us collect video. So keep watching for that. Keep watching for stuff from Fandango. We're supposed to have a video editor on the ground there that's going to
Yes.
get us some great content. We love this event and suggest that you get to it if you haven't been there because it's something else.
I missed an opportunity.
What'd you miss?
We have a brand spanking new issue of the magazine that I do not have in my hot little hands.
Go get it. I'm gonna bring Steve back on and talk about him being in the Trans Am. I forgot to tell everybody you're in the Trans Am. Huh?
No big deal.
It's a very big deal. You're racing a 100-year-old motorcycle across the entire damn country.
Oh yeah, what's his ride gonna be?
1922 Henderson Deluxe 4-cylinder. And I'm just gonna, put my butt on it and go for a little ride every day for 16 days straight with a whole bunch of friends and just have a hell of a good time.
Well, I'll tell you, I know for sure that Tom is working his ass off, his whole team, to make sure that they line up an experience for you guys.
I don't know how to flip this camera around, but here's the bike I'm actually going to ride, Chris.
Oh, damn.
Wow, isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, buddy.
Look at that. So that thing's going coast to coast in September on the Trans Am.
What year is that, Steve?
1922 Henderson Deluxe.
Wow.
So listen, as far as the Trans Am goes, that thing is 3 years away from the cut. Like, do you understand now when Tom said 1925 and older?
Wow.
That thing is almost too new to be in this race.
Crazy.
Just barely made
it. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's super cool.
Yeah, he's got some cool shit there.
Mm-hmm. Steve, what are you hoping your takeaway from the Trans Am will be this year?
Personally?
Yes.
There's people that spend an awful lot of time and effort because they want to really go out there and win. Yes, I'd like to get in all the miles every day. Yes, I'd like to have a perfect score. But honestly and truly, if you go back to the early teens, I think 1908 was the first motorcycle to ever cross America transatlantic. And Cannonball Baker made many transatlantic trips on different types of motorcycles and eventually cars. But back at the turn of the century when motorized transportation came out, these were our sports heroes. My God, this guy rode a motorized bicycle for 68 days and he crossed the entire country. Okay. I just want to crawl on a 100-plus-year-old motorcycle and try to get the same experience that these people had. America's a beautiful place. Okay.
Yes,
and Tom Banks and Kelsey and Sean Jackson have done a phenomenal job with laying out this road race, with the direction we're going across the country. And I just want to sit in the saddle every day and just ride a motorcycle with a bunch of friends and experience what these early people experienced. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, it looks to be a hell of a time, man. I wanted to make sure we brought you back on for a minute to talk about that because that's this is going to be one of those ones that goes down in history. Mm-hmm. You know, all the guys that tote the line on that first event are going to be standouts.
Yes, sir.
We can't how you do. We're going to be following along for sure.
All right.
Okay, well, listen, I want all three of you to continue doing what you do. This is an incredible medium. This is a medium that we in the motorcycle, vintage motorcycle sport really need to have. Anybody on a motorcycle needs to belong, support, and subscribe to what you do. Y'all do a great job, and thank you very much for doing that.
Oh, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for the good words and encouragement all the time. And you guys, what he's talking about there, like you can watch this program. You're probably watching it on social media somewhere. You can watch it on television. It's part of our CycleSource TV every week. Our everything that we can get on there, feature bikes, tech, everything that we do in the magazine, and more. Another dimension, but also you can watch our weekly shows. You can watch Shop Talk right in your living room.
On your big screen.
As soon as I can find it. There it is.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you can watch all the episodes of Shop
every
Talk.
week in your house.
Yeah, that's right. So listen, man, thanks to everybody at Texas Fandango. Thanks to everybody, Tom Banks and his whole crew at Motorcycle Trans Am. Thanks especially to you guys for following along with us. And thanks to Dennis Kirk for leaving the back door of the studio open so we could get in and do another week of this show.
It's amazing.
It is. Rob Nussbaum said that it's flannel night, and obviously Heather didn't get the memo.
No, I did too. Wait a minute.
What?
I have flannel.
Oh, boy.
Are you sporting flannel?
I am sporting flannel. Don't you shut your
You're
mouth.
lucky.
But what did you have that you wanted to share with everybody, Blondie?
Look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
Brand new issue
boy.
313.
How many feature bikes are in that magazine?
There are 9. 9 feature bikes.
That's a
in
lot
this
of feature
magazine.
bikes.
And not only is it issue 313, but it also marks 28 years of CycleSource magazine. Chris has been doing CycleSource magazine for 28 years.
Yes,
right
sir.
here in my hot little hands. Hopefully it's hitting your mailboxes
28 years.
this week.
In other words, I could have killed somebody and been out twice already. Good or bad behavior.
So,
You
but
know,
there's some
I
great-
rode past Fat Cats and Fantasies at the same day the other day.
No, you did
It
not.
brought back some serious, it brought back some serious memories.
So for people who haven't followed along for the entire 28 years, we started CycleSource magazine in the back of my motorcycle shop that was called Fat Cats. And at nighttime, I would go to work at the local gentleman's club that his family owned that was called Fantasies. And
Yeah, that's why they started the magazine. Look at that.
The good old day. Yeah, to get us the hell out of both places.
yeah, so we could get out of the shop and the,
Right?
Yep.
and the
Merle Tully's here, Fredericksburg Pie Company.
oh,
If you're
Merle the
lucky
pie
enough,
guy.
when you are at Fandango, you will get a piece of Fredericksburg
Dude,
pie. It's amazing.
Mark, people literally fly in to the airport in Fredericksburg to get pies from this guy's shop. It is that
Somebody needs
badass,
to fly one to my house.
right?
V-Rodder, you can get the magazine. You can go to cyclesource.com and subscribe.
Or
you can pick it up at Walmart, Books A Million, or Barnes & Noble. They are not on newsstands yet. Subscribers get them first.
Yeah.
So,
But there's only 3 locations that we let
Yep.
carry the magazine anymore because the newsstand is such a dirty, crooked bunch of bastards that we have narrowed it down to 3 shops. You can go to Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, or Walmart. That's the only 3 places that we sell it anymore.
yep. So, or you can subscribe. Cyclesource.com, hit the subscribe button.
And it'll be like in your email or
It'll
in
be
your
in your
mailbox.
inbox.
In your inbox.
It'll get delivered
in your
right
mailbox.
to you.
It'll come through the interwebs.
Yep.
What the hell?
Stop
saying that. What the hell?
All right, man. So listen, this is the end of the show for this week. Thank you guys for being here with us. Have any ideas, people that you want to see on the show, stuff you want us to talk about, send them to Heather because she's the one that keeps track of all that shit. It sure ain't me and Mark, but we will be here every Sunday, 9 p.m., just like always. Same chopper time.
Same Chopper channel.
Bye, Felicia.
He said it.